Welcome to part 2. So really, what can you say? White Rhino. Where's he go now? Where does Dennis send you now? Hey? Is it back to Malta? In front of 130 people? Could do that, couldn't you? Or could go to Magna, you know, and they could dig Snowy up for you. Could see if you could get him dug up for you, or I don't know, who's that other one Dennis likes to use all the time. Could dig Willie Warburton up for you, Dave, if Willie's put a bit of weight on. I don't know, I shouldn't really take mickey here, but this is how I look at it, and I've said it in part 1. White Rhino's got 2 fights left with Big Ron. You're not going anywhere. Big Ron's got his teeth into him for 2 more fights. And I can assure you, there won't be Dennis shows. They want to get maximum out of Dave. And I don't blame him as well, because Dave's been a fool to his sen. They always knew we were going to go back, didn't you, Dave? It's not very nice waking up this morning, is it? Knowing that you've got to hand a bit of your purse over, knowing that you've been hitting nuts. But it's tough. If Dave Allen had been fit for that fight, he'd have won that fight, because Fraser Clark was not fit. You can't be fit coming in at 20 clem, can you, on the night? 20 clemmer. If Dave Allen had been 17 stone, he'd have won that fight. That other couple of stone extra made a big difference on the night. Look at what they weighed, and don't forget they've got to rehydrate, they get a meal down them and all that. Listen, when you're pushing them sort of weights, you're not fit. Could you imagine what Larry Holmes would have done to them two last night? Could you imagine how gutted Larry Holmes were, knowing that he never got to go to Olympics in 1972? And then he looks at somebody like It's Big Freeze, the abominable snowman, giant Karamak Easter egg. Could you imagine looking at It's Big Freeze? Could you imagine that? Eh? Larry Holmes thinking, how did he go in Olympic bronze? Look at him. The state of him, man. 32-year-old is older than Dave Allen. If he's the future at heavyweight division, we're in trouble. Fabio Wardley and David Adelaide light up It's Big Freeze. He freezes on the night like Frosty the Snowman. I've seen enough. If you're going to go through a fight like that, which is, come on. If you're going to go through a fight like that, and you can't take Dave Allen out, Olympic bronze, what do you think an Olympic bronze like Deontay Wilder would have done in his 8th fight with Dave Allen? What would Wilder have done? And what did Big Fraser do? Big Fraser's had a couple of lucky wins when really could have gone other way, couldn't it? 2 of Big Fraser's fights now. Bit of a mess really, innit? Well, it won at the beginning of his career, or about at the beginning, and that one could have gone either way, but he's had hometown decisions because he's Olympic bronze, they've got money invested in him, they were going to never do him a favour. But if Big Rod had had that on a Magna show or Pons Ford, he'd have been different because he's hometown promoter, isn't he? So if you get home advantage, Big Ron, then you can shout and bawl, can't you? A bit like what you were doing for Tommy Frank, Super Tommy, when he were getting all them hometown decisions. That's what happens. It's funny how promoters can cry after the fact, innit? A bit like Bricktop last week. We've got Big Ron crying. Unlucky Big Ron. Invest in your fighters. That's what you always used to say to me. Look what I did with Clinton, I invested in him. Well, you're not investing in Dave Allen. You're doing everything that you complain about. You're taking your cut off Dave Allen, Ron. Right, you're taking your cut and not putting no into the show. You're just turning up with your Del Boy hat on and your moody suits that don't fit you no more. You're just turning up, Big Ron, and taking your slice of cake and complaining about referees and decisions and hoping to be mixed for next time. That's it. That's it. That's it. You and your mascot in tow. Ron. Is this where you're at, Ron, this morning? On your phone, hammering ref and board and everything else and wanted to beat mix. Is that where we're at? Instead of putting some shows on? Jeez, could always dig Tommy up. Let's hope that you don't dig Fuki up or Ross Birkinshaw, because I won't put it past you. It's a shame really. Good luck to Liam Cameron with his debut next month on his show. Pop pop bang on that one. We could call this part 2 the Big Ron roast, but my phone was red hot all night. My phone was red hot all night. I'm just dealing with my messages now. It's tough at the top. Tough at the top. Hey, we all got the Eubank one wrong, didn't we? Hey, I got that one wrong. I said Beefy we're going to do him. Now what? And they're going to have a third one to cheese Eddie Hills off. You know Eddie will be working behind the scenes now to tie Beefy up on a deal and to be tying Eubank up on a deal. But if they've got any sense, they'll do it again on Sky, because it's worth a third one now, that isn't it? I can get behind that for a third one just because it's going to cheese Eddie Hills off. Eddie, you'd love to block that, wouldn't you? Eddie wants to sign Big Phrase. He wants to sign Dave Allen. That's what they're saying. He wants to sign Dave Allen so nobody can have him. Because Dave's going to be pound for pound. 2 fights from Big Meech. No, I'm only joking. Eddie had signed Big Phrase though, wouldn't you? I don't know about the White Rhino, because how can you fight somebody that's just not going to throw punches? And is this where we're at now? People getting slots on Sky because they're funny on social media. Oh, he has a bit of banter, doesn't he? Is that where we're at now? Oh, he has a bit of banter, has got a bit of a following. Whatever happened to putting some hard yards in? Whatever happened to putting the hard yards in? Nobody wants to do it, do they? Put them hard yards in. That's it. Get the hard yards put in. Get that running put in. Get that fitness up to a fitness level. Jamie Moore and his fireman mate Nigel Travis putting a man in there, hey, who didn't have enough petrol in the tank to do 4 or 5 rounds, hey. I don't want to hear about eardrums, perforated eardrums. I don't want to hear about that. I don't want to hear that. I thought Dave Allen was this tough man, this warrior. I don't want to hear about that. Yes, like I've said, the referee, he could have stopped it, couldn't he, and disqualified its Big Freeze, after, because he was still punching low, wasn't he, after the second point deduction. But hey ho, what about Eubank now though? What about Eubank? He's in a good position now, isn't he? Eubank Beefy free on Sky Sports at Christmas, because that Ben Shalom, he's got no else to play with, has he, for another pay-per-view? They'll get that on again. Would it be overkill? Do you want to go down that one or this one again? It's a bit wetter on that one, Rocky. What do you want to do? Where's the other one? You want to go back down there? Come on then. You want to go there? But yeah, Beefy. Where's Beefy? Where's Beefy gonna go now? Beefy's in a bit of a tight spot, isn't he? He needs that third fight. He'll want that pay-per-view. Him and Eubank. I don't think they've got a. I don't think they've got world titles in the pocket now. But I think Eubank can be in entertaining fights. Beefy looked a shell of a man, didn't he? Why is he coming out with something saying that he had to take £42 off in this camp? So that had put him at £202. That's 14 stone 6. Why is he walking around 14 stone 6, Liam Smith? And he's a career light middle, stroke middle. 14 stone 6. You're taking too much weight off, lad. You're taking too much weight off. That's how I look at it. No. So I don't want to hear excuses from Liam Smith after all that big chat he were giving it. Him and his brother Jim Royal. They were giving it the big one all week, and now look, all busted up, begging bowl out. Eubank's in driving seat now with Eddie Hills and Lawton. What about Callum Montana? He's having a purple patch, isn't he, after Lyndon Arthur episode. What a great evening for Lyndon Arthur. Sonny Edwards in ring with him, who's done nothing but slag the IBO belt off, saying that Lyndon Arthur shouldn't come to the party with an IBO belt because it's not a world title belt. And then all over him at ring, pop, pop, bang on that one, Sonny, eh? You little rimmer. You little rimmer. Sonny Edwards, how embarrassing on that one. The IBO, of course, it's a world title belt. Just because they don't do mandatories, I've always championed IBO, me. Lyndon Arthur's a world champion, in my opinion. So it was alright when Manny Pacquiao had the belt and Roy Jones and Vladimir. It was a belt then, wasn't it? And Joshua. Now they're saying it ain't a belt. It's a world title belt. Get over it. Oh. But it is what it is, isn't it? How many minutes we're on here? Got 1 more minute left. What do you reckon? Is there anything you want to add? Anything you want to add? Come on then. Fucking hell, Rocky. I don't know what you've been eating, mate. No, that's about it. Nice walk around here this morning, isn't it? My dogs aren't. Go up to the factory then, bit of back and biceps. I think we'll go see Julian then today. Might do a bit of filming on Sunday. Something to do. So, okie dokie. That's about it. So peace out, keep on trucking, keep sporting boxing. I'll continue with some videos throughout the day probably and tomorrow. And let's do this. Let's get stuck into September. Pop, pop, bang. Thanks for liking and subscribing and leaving a comment. Peace out.